What's going on, everyone? It's Matt from the Offside Track podcast here, doing a video rather than an audio this time. Just me, no Luke. Fancy doing something different. Luke doesn't actually know I'm doing this, and I felt like it was time to try something different, just to try and get a bit more engagement out there. Last night, obviously, the Super League, well, the British team Super League involvement ceased to happen, and that's massive for us. Like, we won that. That's huge for the fans. Like, we did that, and that's amazing. But the way it unfolded is what's caused this video. Obviously, City and Chelsea decided they didn't want any part of it, so they stopped involvement, and it was great. You know, the fans won that. It was amazing. And then we were waiting, and we were waiting, and we were waiting. And I was waiting for the Liverpool announcement to come, and it just didn't seem like it was going to. And I said to Luke, I thought we were going to be the last ones to do it because it's us and United that are the ones that want to push this forward. But eventually it came, and I read it, all 47 words of the statement, if you can even call it a statement. I really don't think you can, if I'm honest. And it just, rather than making me happy, it made me angry. It made me annoyed. So I was like, I need time. I need to go to bed. So I went to bed, but I just couldn't sleep because it was just something just didn't sit right with me with it. And I ended up back on Twitter, which is never a good thing at 12:30 in the morning. But I reread the statement. I'll read it now. In recent days, the club has received representations from various key stakeholders, both internally and externally, and we would like to thank them for their valuable contributions. Where's the apology? Where's the ownership of you made a mistake? That's the most disrespectful thing I've read in a long time to the fans. And then Arsenal come out with a statement. And what do? They apologise. They take ownership. They say, we made a mistake. That's how you do it. Yes, it's just words, but if you actually own the mistake, people are more likely to be forgiving. And that's what annoyed me the most about it. And eventually I went to sleep, and I was like, right, I'll process it, and I'll do something in the morning. And then I wake up to see that John Henry's done a video. Now, watched the video a few times. There's a few key takeaways that I got from that. First one, he starts off by saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Keyword there being I. At least he makes ownership of the mistake. At least he takes full responsibility. Because you can't blame FSG, you can't blame Tom Werner. We all know it's you that's doing it. So you have to own it. Fair enough, you've taken ownership. Okay, I'll accept that. Then it's the next bit that annoys me. Saying that it was never going to work without the support of the fans. Well, you never asked the fans. If you'd have asked the fans, you'd have known that it wasn't going to work. You'd have known we didn't support it. All you had to do was ask Spirit Shankly, ask Redmen TV, ask This Is Anfield, put a poll out on the bloody website, and you'd have realised, we don't want this. But they didn't. Saying it's not going to work without the fans, but you don't consult the fans, that's an issue in itself. And then it got me thinking. We know that they knew we didn't like it because the announcement got leaked about 3 hours before the official documentation came out about it. And the fan backlash was ridiculous. So surely their people should have been looking at Twitter and being like, they don't want that, they don't want that. Oh, maybe this isn't a good idea, let's not do this. But they didn't. They still went full steam ahead with it, thinking it was just going to be a spur of the moment, and it'll be fine, when it wasn't. So you're not paying attention to the fans. You're creating a disconnect between the owners and the fans, and you're dragging teams through the mud. And I really struggle with Leeds fans, attacking the Liverpool bus on Monday, shouting scum, because it's not the players that have done it, and it's not the manager that's done this, because they didn't know. Henderson, last night, leading the charge, calling the Premier League captains to an emergency meeting, sending out the first tweet saying, we don't want this. Honestly, I love that guy. My captain, my king, my hero, is the phrase I used last night. He gets it. He gets what it is for Liverpool. but the owners don't. And this is where my problem lies, because before FSG came in and took over from Hicks and Gillette, I'd fallen out of love with the club. I wasn't associated with Liverpool. I didn't watch games, I didn't buy shirts, I didn't, get any kind of merch or memorabilia, because the club was not being run properly. I was disillusioned with it. And then FSG came in and they changed it all. And that's when I fell in love with Liverpool League, and I started watching, I became invested, it took over my life. And now, there's this disconnect. And I have respect for John Henry for making this video, and I have respect for John Henry because when they first came in, they did buy into the club and the culture and the history, and they said they didn't want to change things. But as time goes on, that loyalty and that respect for Fenway Sports Group and John W. Henry goes down and down, because this isn't the first time they've tried something like this. And there's only so many times that we as Liverpool fans, and like myself included, we can forgive and forget. There needs to be some kind of fan ownership or fan membership on the board of executives at the club, and of all Premier League clubs, because we're becoming the playthings of billionaires, and that's not football. The game's not what it used to be. The game has changed, and we all know that, and we all admit that, and we all are okay with that. But there needs to be some kind of connection with the fans in the club. I just feel like it's not there at the minute. Either FSG, for example, sell 5% to Spirit of Shankly. Fans can raise the money for that. They can buy 5% of the club, and then therefore they have a say. Or you appoint someone from Spirit. I'm just going to keep using Spirit of Shankly because they're the biggest supporter group out there. But for Liverpool, you appoint one of them onto the board. Or you write it into the bylaws of the company that owns Liverpool FC that all decisions have to be gone through the fans, and then you appoint, you consult people, you consult Spirit of Shankly, you consult Redmen TV, you consult This Is Anfield. Because then you're connecting with the fans, you're creating that relationship, you're creating that loyalty, that trust there, which isn't there at the minute. Because no one's bigger than a football club. We say it about players all the time. And so the same goes about the owners. But also, no one is more important to a football club than its fans. And to the game of football than the fans. Because this is a sport. Football as a whole, we are a community. We all have our allegiances and our rivalries, but we all love the sport. And it's the beautiful game for a reason. And the fans, we've proven over the last 48 hours that you cannot take our game and make it into a private plaything. And I am so proud of every football fan that's got involved in this debate over the last 48 hours. But now is the time for change. Still protest against this. We need some level of fan ownership, because these decisions don't happen in places like Germany where the fans own the majority of the club. There needs to be some kind of fan ownership. The FA, the Premier League, they need to bring in some kind of protection for the clubs. So this is my, well, it's not even mine. This is a blueprint that I think that people should follow for football clubs. Fan ownership of at least 10% fan ownership of every Premier League club. Because then this sort of thing won't happen again. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think, because I'm still trying to process. But do you think that fan ownership is the way forward? Or do you think that we should still carry on with, private ownership, fully owned super leagues? Also, give the podcast a listen. We are, we're so happy with how we're doing. We hit 250 downloads yesterday, which is just a really, really fantastic feeling for us. We thank you all so much for listening and your feedback. We're just going to carry on doing it and hoping we carry on and delivering a great podcast for you. We love doing it. If you want to see more things like this, one-on-ones, me and Luke will be more than happy to do them. And yeah, just, thank you for everything, guys, and we will catch you next time. Cheers.